welcome back to my channel. Welcome back, and to my new subscribers, I welcome you. I welcome you. And to those of you that are just running through here, I hope you hang out and stick around, hit that like button, and become one of my nieces and nephews by hitting that subscribe button. Okay, let's get started. Today we are going to be making beef Wellington. Yes, beef Wellington, but one thing about Auntie's recipe, I don't use liver pate. I like liver, but I don't eat liver pate, and I do not put it in my beef Wellington. And this is Auntie's beef Wellington, okay? This is not what you see probably on those fancy shows. This is my version of Auntie's beef Wellington. So if you give Auntie a moment for a flip and a swip and a swip and a flip, and we're going to get started so you too can make this for your family, your friends. And so we're going to get started, okay? All right, give Auntie a moment and I'll be right back. Hold on. All right, let's get started. What you're going to need. Now, again, like I said, this is my Wellington. You're definitely going to need mushrooms, some onions, and garlic. Now, this is, I'm not using, whatever that, tenderloin. Tenderloin is very expensive. I'm using some steaks, and I stack them double. So that's how I do mine. And I have my prosciutto. They will be wrapped in some prosciutto. And prosciutto, so it's very, very delicate and thin. Stays in the fridge because it needs to be cold. Now, I'm using one. This is this is an 8-ounce pack of mushrooms. Your mushrooms and your onions need to be chopped small. Now with mushrooms, I wasn't going through all that because that would have took me forever to do this part. So I put them in my food processor and I did it on pulse. I have a tablespoon and a half of garlic, and this is an entire large onion. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to add some oil. And I'm going to saute this down, okay? And I will be right back once I saute this down. And I'm going to go ahead and add me some salt and some pepper in here and get those flavors going. And I'll be back. I'm going to get this all sauteed in first so I can get that oil out through there. Get all this combined so you guys can see. This is going to be sauteed down. And it's okay if I have some, I don't want big chunks of mushrooms in there. Definitely don't. I do not want that. So I'm going to cook this down. And it's going to look like, not like a paste, but it's going to cook down to where I will be able to spread it, okay? And I'll be right back, family. One key note about this is that it's best to use ground black pepper. It's best to use ground black pepper, and you add the pepper according to your taste. Now, when it comes to the oil, you don't want to add a whole lot of oil in this. You just want enough oil to saute these down, because if your onions and mushrooms are oily, it's going to mess up your dough. And when I say mess up your dough, because the dough that we're going to be using and the dough that you must use, you need puff pastry sheets. And again, these are 6. I'm going to have six servings of this. So you need 2 boxes of puff pastry sheets. And these are going back into the fridge because I need them to remain cold, okay? Okay, oops. All right. I have this, see, it's starting to cook down. So what I'm going to do, this is my little concoction that I like to just throw in here because I do want some flavor in this. I take 2 tablespoons of steak sauce and 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. And I add that in there and throw that over there for a little housekeeping. And then I would just let these cook down in here. And it's not going to be wet because all of that is going to cook down, okay? And see, add in that steak sauce and that Worcestershire sauce, you can smell all that aroma coming through, and it's going to flavor your veggies really well. So you don't have to worry about that liquid, because some of this liquid is coming from mushrooms, because mushrooms are full of water, okay? They're full of moisture. They are full of it. So what you're doing, you're cooking all of that out of there, so you don't have to worry about that. This is all going to cook out of here. But what you're going to be left with is flavor, okay? Now, as this starts to evaporate, if you want to add rosemary or thyme, this is a good time to add it. So go ahead and add your rosemary, your thyme, or your parsley if that's what you want to add in addition to this. When it starts to cook down, like you see, it's cooking down really well. This is the time that you need to start adding your rosemary, your thyme, and your parsley, okay? Okay, I turned the heat off this, and as you can see, look at there. This is what you're looking for. See, that liquid has dissolved out of there. It's cooked down. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to put this in a bowl and set it to the side. And that's the thing about using a really good non-stick pan, because I'm going to use this pan again for I need to sear my steaks. Okay, got that all done. Now I'm going to take a little bit of olive oil. Turn my fire back on, because I want my pan nice and hot again. Just a little drizzle. And the way I'm going to do my steaks is, hold on, family. My pan is hot. I know it's hot because you see that smoke coming off of there. Let me get this fan on so my fire alarm won't go off. My pan is really hot. Now see, because my steaks are by uniform, so that's the way I want to sear them. I want to sear them, not cook them. Just sear them. So these two will go down together because I know that they go together. And that's what I'm going to do. I need good sears. The thing about, don't use a fork to turn your meat. Don't do that. Because when you put a fork in it, and one more thing. These steaks have been briming and marinating. And so I use some apple juice, Worcestershire sauce, garlic powder, some tenderizer, onion powder, and that's what I use. They've been briming overnight in a bowl overnight. So you don't want to cook them. You just want to sear them. Do not cook them. Don't cook them. You don't want to sear. You just want to sear them on that. You just want to sear them. That's it. Because they're going to cook. Once they go inside that pastry dough, they're going to cook. Again, do not use a fork to get these out of the pan, because when you use a fork, you're killing your juices. You are killing your juices. You're releasing the juices that are trapped inside. You're letting them out. So don't do that. Some of these babies want to be difficult. So I'm gonna sear these all and I'll be right back, okay? Okay, we are ready to get started, all right? So what I'm going to do, I have my mushroom onion right here, mushroom onion garlic mixture. I have my prosciutto, and what prosciutto comes, the way it comes packaged, you're gonna have to separate it on parchment paper. I do 2 pieces. Prosciutto is very, very thin, very delicate. So when you tear it, you're gonna have to be separate it. You're gonna be very delicate and very, very careful. Treat it like you would treat a newborn baby. I'll tell you the truth. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna take some of your mixture. You're gonna spread it, you know, all around. Spread it. Because you want to make sure that you get some on the side of your steak. And it depends on how much of this you want. And I have 6 steaks, so I want to make sure that I have enough that all 6 of my steaks get some goodness, right? And you see that little, you need to fill that little spot in right there with some goodness. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my steaks. And see, remember I told you this is how I cooked them and kept them together. Okay. And I'm going to, you know, roll them. And I'm going to secure them like that. And usually if it's long enough, wide enough, you can it will cover the whole steak, but I didn't have enough, so this is gonna work. All right, this is gonna work. And so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take this parchment paper and let this sit right here. Guys, you know what I did? Silly me. Silly me. Silly me. I have made a huge boo-boo. You know what? Where's my dough? Where is my dough? Where is my dough? So I gotta scrape this off. This is not dough. I'm rumbles and strumbles. So I'm going to take this off of here. This is going to be one ugly piece. That's okay. I don't care. It's still going to be good. I need to get, you know what? Looking at this white paper, I'm like, what? You know what? I hadn't even thought about my freaking dough. Okay, let me take these gloves off. And let me get my dough. Now I'm cooking with grease. All right, roll your dough out. You're going to have to roll your dough and stretch it out, okay? You know what? It don't have to be perfect. Just roll it out, okay? Make sure you have your dough. Make sure you keep your, because this doggone, this dough, you pastry sheets, they're great for making turnovers and things like that. You got to make sure you got to stretch this sucker out. You have to stretch it out. That's why I don't make Wellington a lot. You know, it's a really special occasion when I make this, because it's a lot of work. When I want to make them, it's mainly something I make for my daughter and my mother-in-law, not something that, well, I used to eat it. But so I'm gonna get this all stretched out and I'll be right back. Okay, it's all stretched out. You're gonna cut it down the middle. All right, we got it cut. And I'm gonna take this piece, It's already floured, but I don't want it to stick because this dough is so easy to stick. So I want to get make sure. See, we were sticking to my hand, okay? Okay, I'm going to take this. And what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to bring it here. And I'm going to get my other pan with my parchment paper on it. They had my jacked up one. Okay. They had the jacked up one. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have to lay down. I'm going to use my jacked up one. I'm going to save that one for last. Okay. And you're going to put your steak down. I don't know what he's talking about. Go ahead, get my steak, my prosciutto down. I'm gonna say that ugly one for last. Save that one for last. Okay, we're gonna save that one for last. That little jacked up one I had messed up on. Because I'm looking at that white paper. I'm telling you, you don't do something all the time. Okay. All right. I'm going to put my little steaks down here. Going to put a little bit of this down on the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to put a little bit on the sides. And what I'm doing, because they are stacked, I'm going to put it against the steaks, okay? I'm putting it against the steaks. That's what I'm doing. I'm pressing it against the steaks. I always do. These are the steaks that I like. I like to use these steaks because I don't buy the tenderloin. Because it's so expensive. So I don't buy the tenderloin. So what I do, I use these. This is what I do. And I just put two. And I just I stack them. And it's all I do. I just stack the steaks. So it's really like, you know, everyone's getting like, it's an entire steak. And I've just really just cut it in half. So what I'm going to do, have lots of paper towels on site, my friends. Okay. All right, nieces and nephews, keep you good. Okay. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to spread some on top. That's the thing about beef Wellington. I do not like liver pate. And I'm going to show, you know, if I run out of this, you do not have to have this around. So, you know, and so now what you're going to do, what I do, I take this, I fold this over like that. Okay. Fold it over. Fold this over. And you see this? I'm going to bring this around. Put it on top. Going to stretch this out. Now this right here. And when you put these on your baking sheet, which I need to get, put these on your baking sheet, which is over here. You will put it this side down, all right? Your baking sheets, put this down on your baking sheet. Do not preheat your oven yet. Put it down, face down, and make sure that you keep that seal down. Okay? You will put them down like that. This is what you do. We're going to do another one, and then I will do them all off camera, and I shall return. So you want to make sure, I want to flour a little more, so when I do this one, you know, you go to restaurants, this dish costs an arm and a leg and 2 organs. You know, I don't know why. So I'm going to take my prosciutto. Take my prosciutto. Get that down on here. Put a little bit of this. Gonna put my steaks down. If I can get to them. Again, remember what I said? I pressed them to the side. Press it to the side. I do press it to the side. Press it to the side. Make sure that you press them to the side. And then you take some, put it on top, spread it out on top. You don't have to put a whole lot, you know, on top. What you're gonna do, remember what I said, make sure you, but when I say a whole lot on top, just make sure it's evenly around the steak, okay? Just that definitely is a must. Make sure it's evenly around the steak. Bring it over, bring your dough over. Bring your dough over so you can make sure you get that right there. Stretch this out. Bring it over. So you can have that right there. Speak of the love muffin. She's coming in from school. Oh, Dusty, you in the garden, dog. And you bring this over. And I'm going to put this over here on my pan. That's the thing. Like I said, beef Wellington. It's not hard to make beef Wellington. Unless you start doing that 5-star stuff. Hey, little book. Okay. So I'm going to finish up some more and I'll be right back. Okay. I got done. I have 2 already in the oven. So I'm going to do a little egg wash on these. Oven must be preheated to 400. Egg wash gives it that nice golden crust, and that's what you want. Egg wash is nothing but a beaten egg with a little bit of cold water. And make sure when you're doing your egg wash, make sure you get the sides, but don't overdo it on your egg wash, because you may come out with a little scrambled egg on top. You know, you want to get your egg wash, like I said, get your egg wash all done here. Little egg wash. It's going to give it that nice, beautiful, golden, glossy type crust. And you know, that's what you want to do. Make sure you get all your sides good. And this made 6 Wellingtons. Just remember what I said about your dough. Keep your dough in the refrigerator until you're ready to roll out. And when dealing with this puff pastry dough, make sure your board is floured. Not heavily floured, but floured well. Your rolling pin is floured, or your cup. If you don't have a rolling pin, you could use a nice hard plastic cup. I wouldn't recommend a glass because of pressure. You know, I wouldn't recommend a glass, but if the glass is all you have, you know, just don't lean onto it too hard, okay? I don't want anyone going to the emergency room, you know, and then you won't be able to enjoy your Wellingtons, okay? All right, I'm going to cook these. These will bake for 30 minutes. On 400 degrees. Make sure I get all my little, I want to make sure I get my egg wash, my dough covered in the egg wash, because I want all of my pastry to have that pretty golden color. I want all of it to be, I don't want any dry spots on my pastry. So that's why I'm making sure I go over it. Dab, 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 dab. Little housekeeping. Throw that away. Don't need to save egg wash. And I will see you guys in about 30 minutes. Well, for me, 30 minutes. For you, it's just a snap, okay? Okay, the Wellingtons are done. And I just took this one off for you guys. I'm gonna brush it with a little butter. Serve this up for Pate. She's hungry. So as you see what this is why it's very important about the egg wash. See how pretty this crust is? Very, very pretty. So I'm going to get a steak knife and I'm going to cut into this. Okay, the moment of truth. Okay, when cutting into these, if for presentation purposes, if you was going to serve these cut open and all nice and cute and dandy, you know, you would cut them, and you know, but my suggestion, serve them like this and let your guests cut into them themselves. But if you were going to cut them, don't use a knife and fork to cut into them. You know, you want to you cut into them, you know, using a knife. Never use a knife and fork to cut into them if you are going to cut into them and serve them cut, okay? Don't do that. And here they are. Now, again, if you're going to serve them pre-cut, do not cut them with a knife and fork. Slice them, holding them with your hand, okay? And this is enough for 2 people, okay? If you want to stretch them, 1 is enough for 2 people, okay? Serve this, you know, what I'm going to serve these with, I'm going to pair it with the Duchess potatoes I made, and I'm going to also pair that with the what do you call it, brown sugar carrots that I made to go with them. And if you want to make those brown sugar glazed carrots, if you look on my playlist, it's linked under vegetables, and here they are. Here's your Wellington right here. There you go. And see, that's why I say my recipe is actually 1 Wellington is enough for 2 people, because that's a double steak. So it's still like they're getting like really 1 nice piece of steak, okay? So like I said, this is gonna be paired with, and I'll show you what I'm talking about, because I'm gonna plate it up right now. So here's the plated dinner. Now this could be served with some gravy. It's best served, to me, with gravy. I haven't made any gravy for this. She doesn't like gravy, okay? But this is, to me, it's best served with some brown gravy to drizzle over your potato and your beef Wellington. It's best served with that. So here it is, guys. This is our beef Wellington. As you can see inside there, all that goodness. Brown sugar glazed carrots is served as a side, and the Duchess potatoes. Both of these are linked. I just did this upload right before I did this one. And the brown sugar glazed carrots is on my playlist under veggies. Thank you guys for hanging out with Auntie while we made this wonderful beef Wellington. Yes, you go dine out. This is what cost you probably both arms, both legs, and there's a couple of organs, maybe in it, even an eye, who knows. But again, if you like liver pate, you can line your with liver pate. I don't know how to make liver pate because I do not eat it, but you can line it with that. If you don't like mushrooms, you can saute onions and peppers and use that as your filling. You can use that. If you don't like peppers, you can just use onions. It's totally up to you. If you don't eat pork, don't use the prosciutto, okay? Make it. It's your oyster when you make it. Your most important ingredients would be your steak and your dough, okay? Your steak and your puff pastry. Those are your very key ingredients. Make sure you marinate those steaks and give them some flavor. Make sure you sear those steaks, all right? So until our next upload, my next upload, because it's fall, and guys, I told you already, that's my oven because I have 2 more Wellingtons in the oven, and that's my alarm going off, so I have to scoot and shoot. Go be you. Be great being you. And until the next upload, hugs and kisses to each of you. Thank you for all your love and support. Until the next time, I will see you guys later. Bye. And enjoy.